Kevin Magnussen, brutal comment on Ricciardo's future. Haas's Kevin Magnussen has expressed doubt that Daniel Ricciardo arriving at Haas would help to elevate the team. Magnussen is not sure whether the Australian would help to carry the Haas team forward if a deal is struck between the American squad and the ousted McLaren driver. So why does Kevin Magnussen have doubts about Ricciardo's future, and what does Daniel Ricciardo plan for 2023? Let's dig deeper into it. With Ricciardo on the hunt for a new F1 seat after his 2023 contract was bought out by McLaren, Haas are being touted as a possible destination as rumors swirl about Mick Schumacher's future. Magnussen is currently signed on a deal that will see him stay on for 2023, and the Danish driver did not seem too fussed about the possibility he could be teamed up with the 8-time Grand Prix winner. Magnussen made it clear that he has no say in who will be his teammate for 2023 and said he hopes it's someone good that will be confirmed in the second cockpit. It's hard to say it doesn't interest me, but I know my role in the process is non-existent, he told media in Zandvoort. All I can do is wait patiently to see who will be there. For myself, I hope we'll still have someone good in the car next year. The focus is we score points and move up as a team so we can grow long term. With Ricciardo's reputation taking a battering since joining McLaren ahead of the 2021 season due to his inability to get close to Lando Norris's pace and performance, his arrival onto the driver market has yet to result in him landing a seat. With Ricciardo failing to set the world alight with McLaren, Magnussen said his opinion of the former Red Bull racer had been shaken by his 2 off years. "I don't know if he could make the team better. I've never raced against him," said Magnussen. "From the outside, he has always been someone I thought was extremely good, but it's just very hard to judge in reality. How much of that was him being in a good car, and how much of that was actually him. He obviously went up against Max Verstappen and did really well against Max, and I'm pretty convinced Max is as good as he looks. Who knows? It's not my job to think about these things." Daniel Ricciardo is overheard giving a huge clue to his future in F1 as fans lash out at disgusting 2-word label given to Aussie on TV coverage. Daniel Ricciardo had a miserable night at the Dutch Grand Prix on the weekend, but a piece of footage may give a clue to what the Aussie F1 driver plans to do next year now that McLaren have axed him. The Aussie recorded one of his worst results of the season, finishing 17th after qualifying in 18th spot, but it was a pre-race clip of him that got all the attention. Ricciardo was recorded talking to Red Bull driver Sergio Perez and appeared to mention the prospect of taking a year away from F1 before returning to the sport in 2024. The discussion isn't clearly discernible, but the 33-year-old veteran can be heard saying, "Take a year off and come back in 2024. There's been widespread speculation that Ricciardo could find it difficult to get a drive with a top team next season and may not want to race for a backmarker like Williams. Before the Belgian Grand Prix, he hinted at the possibility of taking a year off if the jobs on offer weren't to his liking, saying, "If the stars don't align and it doesn't make perfect sense, and I need to take time to reevaluate, then that's what I need to do." That wasn't the only piece of pre-race trackside footage that had F1 fans talking. A graphic during a TV segment read, "Struggling again," under Ricciardo's name after he qualified for the race in 18th position. The labels assigned to other drivers were more simple and complimentary, leading some Ricciardo fans to brand the graphic disgusting and bordering on harassment. One fan wrote on Twitter, "Clearly degrading and disregarding his efforts. Whoever did this must be a McLaren fan for sure." Another commented, "Interesting to see F1 always claiming to be against toxic behavior and harassment, just to be a prime example of toxicity when Ricciardo is struggling again." A third said, "This is so disgusting. It's not even a typo. Clearly degrading and disregarding his efforts. Whoever did this must be a McLaren fan for sure." A driver of Ricciardo's pedigree will surely be of interest to some teams lower down the grid, but a glance at his 2022 record hardly makes for a compelling case for the Aussie. He has registered just 4 top 10 finishes from 15 races, being outperformed by his younger and more inexperienced teammate Lando Norris in the process. Yet he has delivered McLaren's only race victory since 2012 at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, and also delivered podiums in a struggling Renault car before his 2020 switch to McLaren. So will anybody take a punt on him? There are several possible destinations for Ricciardo when he leaves McLaren at the end of the year. 2 years ago, a reunion with Alpine would have been deemed impossible, given the dark cloud from which Ricciardo left the team, then called Renault, to drive for McLaren. Yet the nature of the current saga engulfing the paddock has seen an opening fall in the Australian's favor. Fernando Alonso has left the French team to race for Aston Martin next season, replacing the ongoing Sebastian Vettel after the German called time on his illustrious career. A move for Piastri appeared obvious for the Enstone team, having spent considerable resources on developing the Aussie talent. However, Piastri dramatically snubbed Alpine and will now take Ricciardo's seat at McLaren in 2023. That has left the door open for Ricciardo, and a move back to his former team would not be so awkward for the 33-year-olds. Besides the name tweak, there's been considerable change in the team's operations, with Cyril Abiteboul replaced by Otmar Schaffnauer, while Alain Prost and Marcin Budkowski have also made way. Ricciardo's move from Red Bull to Renault was viewed as a step down for the Australian, but with options dwindling, a move to Haas could breathe fresh life into the 33-year-old's career. After a shocking 2021 season spent in the doldrums, the American team have enjoyed a decent 2022, often showing glimpses of strong pace with Kevin Magnussen making a solid return to the sport. Yet the Danes' performances have outlined a growing problem with Mick Schumacher. The youngster is part of Ferrari's driver academy, but has delivered under-par performances in his 2 seasons on the grid, leaving Haas with a conundrum. Typically, a smaller team like Haas would struggle to offer a financial package capable of enticing Ricciardo. But if the Aussie picks up a considerable payoff from McLaren as expected, then he may be more open to a lesser deal. Outside of Alpine, Alfa Romeo would likely offer the most appealing option for Ricciardo. Valtteri Bottas joined from Mercedes this season, signing a multi-year deal with the team, while rookie Zhou Guanyu was recruited from Formula 2. It would be surprising if Alfa Romeo decide not to lock Zhou in for 2023, but Ricciardo's availability could act as a head-turner for the Swiss team. Alfa Romeo have recently secured a partnership with Audi for 2026, which would offer Ricciardo a long-term project to sink his teeth into alongside Bottas, although he may be wary of the prospect of putting building blocks in place only to be dumped at the age of 36 when the deal comes into place. Longing to be the force that once dominated the sport, Ricciardo could breathe new life into Williams and spearhead the team under their new owners. U.S. firm Doralton have stabilized the famous team financially since taking over last year and are keen to enlist a driver that can appeal to the growing American audience, with Logan Sargent strongly linked with Nicholas Latifi's seat. Ricciardo, though, is also a popular figure among American fans and would certainly help with the team's marketing appeal. In a similar vein to Haas, Williams would likely only arise as an option should Ricciardo face closed doors at Alpine and Alfa Romeo. But his arrival would make him the team's biggest signing since Felipe Massa in 2014. Tell us your thoughts about all this in the comments section. Well, that's it from this video. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more of our content, please subscribe to our channel. We are so glad to have you here with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.